broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Forgot we had this intense music.
It's freaking me out.
Welcome everybody to another AfterBuzz TV after show for your favorite show, Intruders. This is season 1, episode 6, Bound. I am your host for the evening, Anna Koppel, and here next to me is Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone.
And across from me, Mr. Will Link.
Thank you, thank you.
And next to him, Isaac Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
And before we get totally into it, I just want to take a second to thank, you may notice we're all wearing our Intruders shirts, and we just want to thank BBC America for sending them to us. So sweet. They sent us the shirts in a really lovely note, so thank you. We appreciate.
They've been so supportive of the show.
Yeah.
So supportive and lovely, and we love all that support and love. We just feel so connected, so thanks. Anyway, moving right into it, man, what an episode. What an intense episode.
Wow.
Maybe the most emotional episode of the series so far. That's what it really hit me, this one.
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of things were explained by Amy/Rose, which was nice because to have an episode that was mostly focused on Amy's character, we needed that.
We did, because there's so much mystery surrounding her. So.
Yeah.
And I'd been waiting for a big episode from Mira Sorvino to really dig her teeth into, and this was the one.
Absolutely.
Here it was. So we had Jack and Amy were on the phone. I forget who called who. Did she call him? Did he call her?
He called her after seeing her at the hotel, and then he was back at the house to ask her where she was.
Right, and he says that he's at the hotel, and she says she's at home.
Yeah.
She's a lying liar face.
He said
both of them are lying to each
Yeah,
other.
they're both liar faces.
Right.
Yeah.
he's setting himself up to be set up, which I love.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a really cool cop thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he takes that opportunity to just tear the place up, looking for. He doesn't know.
I don't think he knows.
But he finds divorce papers. He finds a safe.
Yeah.
And inside the safe, he finds a bunch of books, right? And a bunch of tokens.
Triggers.
Triggers.
Yes.
Triggers. Thanks, guys. Thanks for keeping me honest.
Yeah.
So, and while he's going through all the stuff, he has all of these flashbacks, right? So you guys can feel free to jump in at any time, you know. Just
We're just enjoying your
Yeah, you're doing such a great job.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, this is nice.
I'm just saying.
Flashbacks / realizations. You know, he's piecing everything literally
Sure.
together. I find it interesting also with the safe opening, all the different number combinations that he used. I don't know if those mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like they for us, we're always looking for the number 9.
Of course.
But those were a bunch of random different numbers. I wonder if they have some symbolism to something.
Birthdays, wedding anniversaries, I don't know.
Maybe the date that Dylan died or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he ultimately gets it open, and I think what's inside is what counts.
Yeah.
What's inside
That is
it
true.
counts.
Not one, but 2 Reverte books.
Yeah.
In different languages too.
Yes.
He made mention that she had books in different languages, so it would make you think that like when she or Rose comes back as different people, maybe speaking other languages, it has to be written in that language, obviously, so you can read it and be triggered.
Right. But there was one page that was in English. I don't know if you guys read it, but there was one that I could actually read. I paused it because
Nice.
you have
Okay,
to. But it says, "River flows again, traveled far from here to there, uncertainty, headaches, unfamiliar memories. Had these before in another life." Which they pretty much reiterated it later in the episode. But it makes sense to anyone who's been brought back and they would read that book. It's kind of just like the guide of, these are the things you're going to experience. They're normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've heard similar things from Marcus's book, Madison's book.
Yeah.
Whoever's book that.
Yeah.
The book that wasn't meant for Marcus.
Right. Right. So, yeah.
And I'm assuming now one of these books, obviously, she's got for when Bix comes back, when she brings back Bix.
Well, yeah.
Who we see as a Chinese waiter.
Right. Yeah. And right. And we'll get into Bix, but she also had said that she didn't know what she was doing then. But
yeah.
So we don't know. But anyway, so one of the flashbacks that Jack had was of shooting these gentlemen, shall we call them?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
And and before he shoots one of them, the guy says something in Spanish, and I looked it up, and it was something like, "I'll take my vengeance on the other side."
Yeah, voy a vengar al otro lado. Sorry.
Oh, really? That's what that meant?
Yeah, we'll have revenge on the other side.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Do we think that that's just... I mean, it's stupid to think that's just coincidental, obviously, right? I mean, were those people... Is it just some scary stuff to say
before you get shot?
Or is it a reverte thing?
I feel like people often will say, like, "I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
You know?
And then you shoot them.
Okay, yeah.
Similar.
I gotta feel like it's connected. I don't think that... I don't know. I feel like everything's connected on this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely connected.
But also, I'm still wondering what the heck Jack's doing there, about to shoot them, and he has like a fuzzy memory, and he doesn't necessarily remember why he was shooting them.
Well, this is the second time we've seen that now, and we still haven't gotten the full story. We know Amy does show up after the shooting.
Maybe Amy, maybe Rose.
I like how we're getting this particular scene non-linear, because we see the end part the first time. We're seeing the middle part up, and now hopefully there'll be another episode where we see the actual beginning, how he even got there.
That'd be cool.
So more revealing.
But it seems like maybe Jack was just not such a good cop.
Well, he couldn't have been a great cop. I mean, he's sitting around just gonna... I mean, he's basically shooting these people in cold blood.
Right, where he doesn't, his partner's not there, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a solo mission.
He obviously knows criminals are going to come into this place. Why not have, the force there to arrest them and everything? So clearly there was some, maybe revenge, maybe, we know he has anger issues.
Yeah, we know that, but also, who are these people that he's shooting? Are they part of the Reverti? Or, what's the reason why he's shooting these people?
Maybe.
What have they done for him to be there to kill them?
If they're Reverte, he doesn't know that then.
Yeah, he wouldn't know that. Maybe they're just a rival gang,
does.
like the Jets and the Sharks. And there's like a rival gang to the Reverte. Or what's that story anyway?
Yes, no, that's I'm loving
Jets
that.
and Sharks.
Well, they did look like they were in some sort of gang attire. I don't know. I mean, there has to be an opposition to the Reverte, I think. Maybe not exactly, they don't do dance routines and fight each other with knives.
I hope that the season finale is just a giant dance routine.
I hope it is as well.
Or is this group part of the Tim Truth kind of cult?
Oh, maybe.
Against all these people? Maybe.
I think they're just some bad dudes.
A lot of speculation.
Well, no,
speculation.
but when you said that, are you thinking that there's someone inside Jack who took over to do that? Another soul?
That's questionable. I didn't think of that. My only thing was who are these people? Why is he killing them? What have they done for him to even be there in the first place? To kill them pretty much in cold blood.
Who knows?
More will be revealed, hopefully.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so as he's tossing his own house, neighbors Brud and Bobby show up.
Yeah.
Worst neighbors ever, as he points out. And it seems like they're more involved too, which makes sense because several episodes ago when Brud had called Jack while he was in Seattle, asking where his car was, and then Amy got on the phone right afterwards. So it makes sense now that they're sort of more involved.
And if Amy, or I should say Rose, if Rose is someone who's high up in this Reverte, someone who's about to become one of the 9 even, you would think she'd want to have some people close to her for protection or to shepherd them. Maybe the neighbors themselves are shepherds, Yeah,
they could be, I guess, I don't know, employees of Reverte. I don't know what to call people who work for them. I guess maybe employees, right?
The lackeys.
Lackeys. Okay.
In layman's terms. But also, that would make sense now, because when Jack was calling for his car, it was just another reason to hold on to his car to, you know, stop him from doing all this research and getting involved. So just another way to, a diversion, I guess you can say.
Yeah. But Amy, or Rose, comes back and tells Brett and Bobby that their job there is done, and leave. And so she's there to explain
They didn't
everything.
do a very good job of their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're terrible at that. And I don't know why people keep underestimating Jack. Like, he was
A police.
Yeah.
man.
Well, so maybe he was a good cop. He seems to be able to get the upper hand.
Well, maybe what I'm trying to say, though, about him being good cop, bad cop, he's like a corrupt, maybe.
Oh, a corrupt cop.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Still total badass. But
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
They underestimated his skills, obviously.
Right. Yeah. And they keep
He knows
doing
how to
it.
handle a gun.
Yeah. People keep going. He keeps fighting them and winning. So.
He knows how to handle a duffel bag full of his belongings.
Full of clothes.
What was in there?
I think he was just packing up enough stuff to get a good blow on these people.
Wait, I was
Well,
watching.
there was that bottle he grabbed that
Yeah,
had
well,
to
there's
hurt.
definitely alcohol in there.
Yeah.
I was.
Jack's not going anywhere without a drink.
Yeah, a couple for the road.
No, he was relying heavily on that, and he should be aware. That leads to nowhere good.
Well, it did help him out in that situation.
Yeah.
though.
It did.
I'm not sure that it was alcohol. Maybe it was the same.
Well,
I'm
actually-
saying
Yeah.
it's a bottle.
One
that
thing
helped him.
I thought he took, and maybe I'm wrong, did he take I thought it was like an urn or something that he put in there. Was I mistaken? Was I seeing something I wanted to see?
I didn't see anything.
I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think it really matters to the story that much what was in the
We should
bag.
spend the next
We need to get to the
40
bottom of
minutes
this right now.
discussing what was in that bag.
We could, but I don't think we should. So let's move forward.
Okay, sure.
So Rose shows up and she says that he needs to let Amy go, and Jack is very confused. Why do you keep referring to Amy in the third person? Why do you keep referring to yourself in the third person? Because Amy is the third person. And Will, I thought about what you said with it reminds me of Being John Malkovich, because she said something like, when we had sex and you were inside of me and I was inside of her.
Oh, yeah.
And, and I was like, yeah, that's totally like Being John Malkovich, and it's totally creepy.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But now Amy's asleep. She says she's put Amy to bed, basically, which is the thing that Marcus can't seem to do with Madison. But Rose has got Amy down for the count, according to her.
9-year-old little girls are very difficult to put to bed.
Yeah.
They could be.
Yeah.
But my question is Amy really dead, or is she just asleep? Because sleeping generally is a temporary thing.
Well, she's still...
Unless you are dead and can't wake up.
I think she's asleep. She's like, what, like deep under? Or...
Yeah, she's somewhere deep down there
Subdued.
inside. And I wonder if there's a possible trigger that could be used to bring her more out and then have her more in control of Rose.
I think Jack's the trigger. I mean, Jack even kissing her says that he feels like some part of Amy there. Maybe that's why they just want to get rid of him so that Amy can stay asleep.
Well, when Glenn was here last week, he said something like Amy wasn't going to go until she knew that Jack was okay.
Sure, yeah.
And so I think Jack is getting increasingly not okay. And that might make Amy hold on.
Oh.
And then the other thing is that, and maybe that's why Rose is like, you need to let her go. And Bobby and Brett said the same thing. You're not hearing her. She's moved on. You need to too. And so there are all these other people saying, move on.
But do you think okay might mean that Reverte's not going to kill him? Like that he's going to, because they weren't going, because they made a big deal, Brood and Bob made a big deal, oh, you're getting a chance that other people don't get. Like, you're getting to walk away from this. So maybe that Amy sees that Rose is going to give him a pass, basically, and she's also giving him his own trigger in the future, that maybe the family could be back together. So maybe that's why we're not getting more Amy. Maybe Amy has gone away because of that. Like she says, they've given him a shot, he's safe now. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think you're right, though. I think him letting go of her has something to do with it, because he's sort of very, like, resolute when he's, like, slumps down to the floor and he's like, I'm never letting this go. I think that has a lot to do with her, them not being able to fully get rid of Amy.
She also says something about the miscarriage. And she was saying that I didn't want that baby. I didn't want to have a baby with you because I'm not in love with you. And I got rid of that pregnancy, and that's what I wanted, and that's what made Amy leave, and she's gone now. Which I don't believe is entirely true. I don't think she's entirely gone. But I do believe that that would make it more difficult for her to hang on. And I think that having a baby would have made her fight harder to stay. So, that thoughts?
No, I'm with you.
I think that's good. You know, I agree on that aspect too, because I think now if Amy did really leave, she might have been convinced by Rose that if you leave now, you have the potential of being, you know, returned. You can come back in the future. So that might be the reason why she was so more willing to let go. But also the line with the baby being, well, we find out later in the episode, not to jump too far ahead, but being buried in the ground, I thought was so vague at this point. And it really surprised me with Rose's character, because I think we all get the notion that she is evil, but not really, not so much. But it shows that if she went out of her way to help Jack and Amy have a potential to have a future life, maybe Rose isn't really that bad. She does have a conscience.
I mean, I don't necessarily think she's that bad. She, in her way, is going against Reverte in her own way, out of love. She wants to be reunited with somebody.
Yeah.
And I guess her hands are kind of tied because she can only give Jack so much information without getting maybe into even more trouble or getting her whole spot blown up, you know? So she's gotta hold back a little bit. And she gave him something. Of course, this something will probably only lead him to ask more questions and cause more trouble for her, but still, she gave him something.
Yeah, I don't see her as evil. I see her as trying to get what she wants. Clearly, like, the thing with Bix has been very important. She's been searching for him for a long time. You know, I did wonder about, like, is Rose or Amy upset about Dylan dying? Because they're both crying, especially when they're pouring the ashes together. Like, I think that's Rose there crying about it. And anybody following this?
I thought it was Amy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it could be both.
You guys, I'm very unclear about this whole storyline. So yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So no.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought this up. So what?
Something on Intruders has confused us.
What?
But this in particular, first Rose says to Jack, if it makes you feel any better, she doesn't know that I terminated the pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it seems like Amy doesn't know something.
Rose was, you know,
She's not
at the
aware
helm of that.
That's how it ended, just that they lost the baby, I guess.
Then somehow Amy or somebody took care of, made arrangements for the baby's body.
Well, that was clearly Rose.
Yeah.
That was Rose.
That she had it.
Especially because of the way, what a disturbing image, but like,
That was.
because of the way the baby is wrapped, like they wrapped the other people that are supposed to come back,
Mummy-like.
you know.
Rose had to do it because there's no way the hospital was going to do the ceremony of the Kay Reverte ceremony for the baby.
But where did these ashes come from?
I mean, you can
Fake,
get
probably.
dust, ash.
You
anywhere.
want ashes, I could get you
smoked,
ashes.
She smoked like 10 packs of marbles and just ashed them into little things.
But did
Yeah.
okay,
Dumped it.
but then she does smoke, you're right.
Yeah.
But then did Amy think that she made arrangements to have the baby cremated? I mean, does she think she has any part of this? Because Amy knows that she lost a baby. What does she think happened?
I think that's Rose talking.
Yeah.
I think that's Rose saying that she's lying to Jack that she had it cremated, and then of course she hid the body where they dumped the ashes so that they could all be together later. That's her thing.
But so what does Amy think happened as Amy?
Well, to be fair, Amy's probably still in such shock and misery over, you know, she's probably not thinking clear to begin with. If you told Amy, we got Dylan cremated, she would be probably like, oh yeah, I'm like, you know, she probably has these vague memories of doing that as Rose, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Amy right now is very distraught, but it felt like there was a quick moment during the whole flashback where she was actually having the miscarriage in the bathroom, which is very graphic, but very well done.
Yeah.
There was a line where she's like, please don't take my baby. It felt like and it felt like Amy knew what Rose was doing, just in that line. But I could be wrong. So maybe Amy did know at this point that she was already fighting with Rose.
I had that feeling too. She said something like, and she apologized too. She said, "I'm sorry." So yeah, there was something going on that was, I don't know, just maybe vague, but.
But after that, it felt like Amy was the one that's taking over, taking care of the body, taking care of the burial and all that.
Yeah. Do we have more to say about Jack finding the baby? Because I just felt like it was so emotional and horrifying. And sorry, we're having some technical issues, so we might
that's
sound
why we're making some weird faces.
yeah, so that's
like what we said.
And might be trailing off and such. So anyway, but
I mean, the only thing I would have to say is that like John Sim, like just. It was all there, like him cradling a baby carcass. Like, oh my gosh, that guy was a brilliant scene.
Great work by him in this whole episode.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been great on the series.
Like, it hit me real hard.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of emotional, heavy stuff for these actors to deal with in the episode, and they did a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very visually graphic too. I mean, even during the commercial. Before they came back, they're like, viewer discretion advised. I was like, definitely. Definitely added. I was
like, what are we gonna see? Oh, baby carcass. That's
I mean, that's.
Yeah, there's something powerful happening when, because I was so freaked out and horrified and sad and just like this feeling of desperation at the same time. For those things, for all of those emotions to be happening at the same time, I think it's just something really powerful has happened. So good on ya. Before we move on, I just want to take a quick second to talk about iTunes. I want to thank you guys. You've all been really supportive. You've been commenting. Isaac, do you have some of the comments pulled up? Awesome. We're here. We're doing this for free. If you want to take a comment or a second to just, 5 stars. If you want to check out some other shows, we do 50, 60 shows a week. We have pretty much 80 shows a week. Wow.
80.
Look, moving on up. So yeah, check out other shows, comment, tell a friend, and it helps us bring in awesome guests like Glenn Morgan, and it helps us keep the lights on. And what do the people have to say?
Well, we have a few reviews. One of them from Love is a Revolution. Nice. Nice. It says, top notch, great show and panel discussing what's quickly becoming one of my favorite new shows. Love all the theories and guesses as to what's next. That's what makes Intruders fun to watch and makes this panel a delight. Keep up the great work.
How many stars?
5 stars.
Nice.
Let's do. What should we do? All of them?
Let's just do one more.
Okay, one more. It's so hard to choose.
We appreciate all the comments.
We do appreciate all the
comments. Ms. Out Tiger 89. I'm probably saying that wrong. Love Intruders, find your podcast very helpful as apparently I miss a lot. Seeing as I know no one watching this show, that's sad. Very nice to find a place to hear it discussed. So far after episode 4, I think Rose is Amy. Got a good guess on that one. I think Bix may have been inside of Cranfield. Will soon back to be his younger person again. One for two, I guess. Then I also feel that Jack recognized Shepard. Maybe they were cops together. Once again, love your show.
Nice. Okay, so cool. So thank you for your comments, and that's it. So, so we also have the speaking of, we have some good predictions too. We have people with good predictions. Our audience is our people.
Better than us.
But we have Rose and Richard and Bix, and Richard just seems to be able to find anybody. Although I guess Frank put in some of the heavy.
Yeah, he did the heavy lifting.
He did the heavy.
Well, and then Rose did slide him that note. Told him where to go.
Yeah, that helped.
So what did he do? He had shrimp shumai and then
looked delicious. Yeah, good.
Do you think, because I enjoyed the opening scene of this episode, and do you think that Rose knows that Richard killed Frank and is just playing it close to the chest, or do you think she's got no idea? Because I assume that all these Cayo Verde people really know what's going on most of the time.
I don't think so. If they did, then Richard's dead, so I don't
But
they can have their suspicions.
But she still needs somebody to do this off the books job for her. So
sure, but he convinces her to let him do the job. Like, she doesn't want him to do the job, right?
But she's got no other options at that point.
Sure. Well,
So-
he lays that out to her.
So there you go. He already knows about it anyway, so you might as well have him do it.
Sure.
So I think she knows he killed Frank, but it's like, what am I going to do? I still need someone to do this job for me. So Richard wants the job, I'll give him the job.
He says something interesting. He said, I figure I should make up for triggering you so late.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's just that one line,
Yeah, I missed
and
that.
yeah,
Rose has been in Amy, or dormant in Amy, maybe longer than she should have been, or anticipated.
Yeah.
so so I'd like to know more of that backstory.
Richard's got a bad history with these three. He's triggering Marcus too early. He's triggering Rose too late.
He's got a timing issue.
He's got to get on the ball
He's
here.
got to
Yeah.
work on his timing. That's
But
all.
we also find out that Richard has history with Amy,
Yeah,
not
that
with
was-
Rose. So what is that?
And that's what I'm most curious about from that conversation.
How did they meet?
Well, maybe he had to get close to her before he triggered her? I mean, is that a thing? Like, how close do the shepherds get to people before they... I mean, we see in the opening of the series them basically just break into Donna, not Donna's home. But, I don't know, maybe he was getting close to Amy for whatever reason, keeping an eye on Rose. Everyone was keeping an eye on Rose. The neighbors, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but they have really an interesting dynamic, and she kind of calls him out. She says, "That's not why you're here. You're here because you know what it's like to lose somebody too."
Yeah.
So,
Gotta imagine that's the brother.
I think
Yeah.
it's brother, yeah.
but they know about each other. They sort of have tabs on each other, and
Well, if he lost his brother somehow, and I think Glenn alluded we're going to get some of that backstory next episode. But if he lost his brother somehow, then that makes sense why he would be like, why don't we give this power to everybody? Why don't we just bring because there's somebody he loves that he wants, and what's the good of living forever and knowing people can live forever unless you can take the loved ones with you, which is clearly what Rose is trying to do with Bex.
right. So ultimately, she sends Richard to take the job to find Bix, and he finds him in Peter New.
Yes.
I didn't.
I didn't expect it from like such a seemingly random person. I mean, we've seen a lot of different people, and men show up in women, but like Peter New, was that the same Chinese area as the woman who
with the
gave the book
books, yeah.
before?
No, because I think that was in a different town.
That might have been.
Yeah, because that was more like Madison was in Oregon or whatever, and she had to get up to Seattle.
But what's the significance of choosing? What was the language? Chinese, Mandarin? I think it was Mandarin.
I don't know.
Is
But
either
there's
Mandarin
a
or Cantonese? I don't
connection
know.
there, maybe.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know how random it is when you die, where your soul ends up. I mean, is it completely random, or is there a pattern to it? There has to be some sort of pattern, I'd imagine. Otherwise, the shepherds would be... I mean, it'd be a needle in a haystack. And later, though, and I don't think we get the answer, but I'm assuming we will, Peter/Bix says, "How did you find me?"
Here's what I don't really understand yet. Did Bix actually die from alcoholism or...
I buy it.
Okay, but then later Rose is saying, I didn't know exactly what I was doing then.
Well, Rose, from what I gather, Rose, was always reverte. She was Russian. We see her talking about being in Italy, in the 18th century.
Trevi Fountain.
So she was always reverte. She fell in love with someone who was not reverte, would not be brought back. So on the side, she tried to perform her own little reverte ceremony so she can find the soul later. And that's what she'll get into trouble for now, because if Bix if they find out she brought somebody who wasn't like in the little club back,
Yeah.
that's gonna be it for her. Yeah.
But don't you have to perform that ceremony before somebody dies?
I don't know if that's necessarily the rule.
How?
I mean,
Well,
it was clearly performed on the baby who was buried in the ground.
It was performed on Cranfield.
Although I think Cranfield might have been still alive when they did.
that's what I'm saying.
That's what we said.
But we don't necessarily know the rules of the ceremony. Maybe that's part of the reason when she says I didn't know exactly what I was doing if it would work.
Sure, but like the way that Marcus, not to jump ahead, but like the way that Marcus kills people, he wraps them up in a specific faction.
Mm-hmm.
Even Madison wraps up the neighbor, I forgot his name, but the guy whose house she went to last week.
Yeah.
So I think they can be dead. I think it just has to be a certain way of trying to preserve the body or something like that.
I
But
mean, the soul still goes on.
Yeah.
After you die, no matter who you are, apparently.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of confusing. But she does like. I mean, I think what Will you said is right. Like she fell in love with this jazz musician. 'Cause she even mentions that when she's talking about the nail polish, that her parents hated him and that sort of thing, and she's decided to do her own thing since she's just woken up somewhat recently. She's now on a mission to go find him.
Well,
Yeah. Clearly she's found him.
she found him, and now he's found.
But you said like, well, how did they like? What's the connection with like I don't know, like either Asian food or when they found
like
the book?
that culture.
Well, yeah, that culture. But like, I guess like Glenn did say last week that like there are certain places you can find these people, and I don't know, maybe there's something to do with that. There's got to be a connection, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, also any culture that's been around for a long time would be more. I don't know.
I would say I think all cultures
Again,
have been around.
speculating.
As I was saying that, I'm like, because I'm thinking of some like ancient Chinese culture, and then I'm like, but yeah, I'll call everyone's been around.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean now it's taking place in. I was gonna say really America's the only, like the United States is really the only place, but it's taking place in Seattle, so
True.
I don't know.
Because that's
is
one
America.
of the places where it's easier to cross over. That building, I'm assuming
Right.
you're still with that, and then maybe that's
I'm
why.
saying your theory is terrible.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, though. It makes sense. Okay, well, the other just one thing that happened was Madison's parents showed up to Larry Owen's house. And Larry Owens is dead and rotting. And
Seemed like it took Madison's parents a while to get there.
maybe the heat was turned on in Larry's house. I don't know.
It's a very fast decaying body.
Yeah, it was gross. And Detective Ron Blanchard is on the scene again. So I don't know if he is just like the only detective in the area, or
He's in
the one-
Reverte's pocket.
No.
but he's not in Madison's parents' pocket. Like, why did he show up?
Because it's
He's
Marcus.
the one on the case.
Yeah, and it's Marcus Fox's house. His old
But it's
house.
Larry Owen's house.
Yeah, but he knows
Now.
it was Marcus Fox's house from seeing all those bodies there.
I know.
And
It's
the cold
just.
case.
I just think it's unusual that he showed up right away because they're calling 911. That's.
Well, I mean, there were already cops there, so he probably saw
Sure.
it come in. And, also, remember, he's the guy who was questioning Jack, and there was someone mysterious who I'm still convinced is Rose behind
Right.
that window. So he's getting all of the information. He's on the payroll for Reverte.
But if he was like investigating those Marcus murders at that house, and then there's like an APB or whatever you say, like on like that house, and somebody's died there, like maybe he's got a Google alert or something. I don't know. And he's like, there's another murder at that house. Got to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
yeah.
then sees the body again, like wrapped up the same way, and then he immediately says Marcus Fox.
He knows. He knows the handiwork of Marcus Fox.
Yeah.
And then there's this like real moment between Madison's mom
Yeah.
and Detective Ron.
Sure. Well, we found out that those are her parents. At least she said that like Madison grew inside of her, so they're not.
Yeah,
we had
there was some
speculated
debate.
whether or not those are her parents, but
But also the lines that Madison's mom said, which was very, very specific.
Mm-hmm.
She felt like she failed as a mother, nourishing, housing, shepherd. Madison, I mean, very good
Yeah.
choice of words.
yeah, a lot of people use that term here, but I'm like, Is that just something people say in Seattle?
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of that was supposed to be a hint about something with her character, or just because that was juxtaposed with him digging up his unborn baby. Yeah. So I wonder if it was just to add to the mood of that moment.
I feel like a dramatic writing device.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Possibly.
Anything else on this episode?
This is sort of off topic, but Gary's staying across the hall from Rose this whole time, and he knows that that's where they're staying. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he tell Jack that Amy is Rose?
I don't think he's ever
Or did
seen
he know
Amy.
that? Or did he know that he's never? Gary's never
seen
seen Jack's wife.
Well, maybe he doesn't know Amy's Rose, but maybe he's seen Amy go in there, but he doesn't know it's Rose.
She's there because he's the one that tells Jack originally, like, that Amy's not where she says she is.
Right, but I don't know that he knows what Amy looks like, because he hasn't seen Jack since high school.
No, he knows what Amy looks like.
He's the one that originally warns Jack that she's not where she said she was. How would you know that?
And he's seen her I think in that first episode, because they're at the bookshop and he sees Gary. Mm-hmm. And he knows Amy, but he doesn't necessarily know Amy's Rose, so he might know that Amy's up to something, but doesn't know that she's...
Just never tells him that she's, like, across the hall, like the wife that you're looking for. She's staying at my hotel. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Gary's played a lot of things close to the...
No, yeah, he also said, I've been staying here, I haven't seen them. I know that they're staying here.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah. And we also find out that Amy's actually 42, not 36, which darn goes my prediction. Because when Jack opens up her passport, it says she was born March 15th, 1972, which would make her 42.
Marissa's like into
you're
this.
Really, you're catching all the...
I was just trying to find out, like, even if that's, I don't know the mathematical term, but, like... 42 divided by 9 is not even 9, or it's actually like 4.666.
Well, that's the thing about saying that he woke her up late, I guess. Maybe he didn't wake her up on her increment of 9.
Yeah, early. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or late, I guess. Also, like, we saw that, like, it seems like 3 of the triggers bring the person back. Like Marcus is in the restaurant and he shows him, like, the card, and then Peter walks away, and then he's playing the song on his phone, and it's not till they show him the trumpet mouthpiece that he comes back.
Yeah, well, the card's not a personal item of Bix. The mouthpiece is.
Yeah, I think the card was just because he was testing him to see what was, like, how much maybe he knows or remembers something. First the card, then he plays the music, and because he has that deja vu moment.
I love that explanation, like the self-awareness of everything that's going on. Yeah, it's just a little nod to the audience. We get it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, guys, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I'm going to start. I never start.
Do it.
Okay. My prediction is that, they brought Bix back, and he didn't seem that excited. What he said was, "How did you find me?" And I'm going to predict that he's actually not in love with Rose.
That's good. That's good.
Should save that for last, man.
Well, yeah, we're not going to top that. I got nothing. Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, I love that. I love that it was like an unrequited love from her, and she's been searching for that. Rose is crazy and obsessive.
She looks that way, doesn't she?
I mean, she's willing to give up all her power with Reverte and never to be reborn again.
Sure.
For this, so
when she's on the cusp of becoming part of the 9.
Yeah, and now
maybe you can bump a person out of the 9 and then get a new 9 or something like that.
I mean, now Cranfield's out of the 9.
He's out of the 9?
Well, maybe he is, because his soul's got to be reborn somewhere else now, right? So it's got to be found again. So maybe that's the opening in the 9.
Could be.
Who else?
I don't know.
What else?
Not really. I mean, this is, I think, an obvious prediction, but I'm very excited for next week because we have no Madison in this episode, and we know that's my favorite character. So I'm assuming we're going to have lots of Madison next week. I think she's going to be, kicking ass and taking names next week.
Well, she's talking to the daughter, or she asked that girl, "Are you the daughter of Todd Crane?"
Todd Crane's going to get it next year. Todd Crane is done.
Yeah,
next
that
week.
is my prediction that Madison is killing Todd Crane.
Good.
We also see in the previews that Rose is asking Shepard to kill Marcus Fox. So I'm predicting that Marcus Fox found out what Rose was trying to do and tried to bring back Bix, and he was gonna like tell anyone who's involved to kick Amy out of the 9, and therefore she wants Marcus Fox to be gone.
There's a lot of corruption in Reverte right now. Everybody's got side deals. Everyone's got these bank deals. And yeah, Richard's got secrets now with Rose and Marcus.
Yeah.
Which might actually put him in the most powerful position of all, because he's got dirt on them, they've got dirt on him, but it doesn't matter because he's got all this.
Yeah, maybe he'll be part of the 9 now.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be like sort of leveraging to try to get his brother back by like any means necessary.
He's going to make a power play to do that.
Yeah, he seems to be leveraging them both.
Smart. Will, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at The Real Will Link. You could also listen to my podcast, Will Sean Podcast, on the Westcast Network.
I like that you make a face with the Will Sean Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, The Isaac Johnson, and head over to my YouTube page, The Isaac Johnson. You can check out a short film and my music video. Thank you.
And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Isaac and I are going to be recapping the season finale of Ray Donovan after this, and Revenge is back tonight, and it is sexier and revengier than ever.
Revengier?
So, yes,
It's
that
always
is a word.
revengier.
So just stay here on AfterBuzz TV all night, and we will be here next week. Thank you for tuning in.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.